Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing today? First of all, I want to check in. If everyone can do me a favor and in your chat, can you see me? Good. Thank you so much. I sure appreciate it. Awesome. Okay, guys. So we are here today for a special Q&A with our leadership following the announcement that was made by Governor Inslee yesterday for stay home and stay safe. And so first of all, I want to start us out with giving us some framework around our conversation today. And so Pam, could you take just a second and tell us a little bit about mindset and how that's mattering right now?
Yeah, you know, I was thinking about this yesterday, and I really feel like, you know, as we think about this, some of us might think, well, this is the end of something that I knew so well. And I just want to challenge your thinking about that a little bit and help you guys understand that it's actually the beginning of something. And anytime something shows up in your life that's new, it's going to make you uncomfortable, right? We know growth actually happens outside of your comfort zone. And, you know, I think for the first time in all of our lives, we're all in one place at the same time, which is outside of our comfort zone. Yeah. So the quicker we can just adopt the mindset of this is actually the beginning of something new, the quicker your brain will go to solving whatever questions or issues that you have right now. So just pay attention, be aware of your thoughts right now, and write it down somewhere that this is the beginning of something new. As a matter of fact, I hope you take a piece of paper and write it down right now. This is the beginning of something new. What do you want your life to look like when this is over?
I love how you're saying that, Pam. That is fantastic. Okay, so we probably need a little bit of review of what the governor said yesterday and kind of how that impacts us. So John, can you kind of walk us through a little bit of what that meant? And a lot of questions are coming on of whether we're essential or non-essential.
Sure. So the from what I'm reading about it and from what the review of the Realtor Association put out from Washington State was that we tried to get included as essential services. We are not essential services, so we don't fall under any protective anything. And so to be out and about during this curfew, I guess we'll call it a curfew, would actually be criminal. And so we want to make sure we're honoring that. We want to make sure we're not exposing our clients to the virus, that kind of thing. So it's something that everybody should read. The Washington Realtor notices that have gone out on this really quick. They've been really good. At getting out and just make sure that you are.
Yeah, I hear that completely. By the way, Guru just had
I agree
chat. He said they should have done this weeks ago, so yes. I totally agree. Yeah. By the way, guys, looks like we had a limitation of 100 participants on this webinar this morning. We are recording it. So anybody who's texting you or asking, let them know we're recorded. I will post that right after this meeting. So we'll get it up to everybody. Okay. So right now, guys, we've got some stages of action that we really want to go through. And I want to share our screen with you here. So let's kind of take us through those. So John, maybe you can walk us through. Let's start off with getting current transactions closed. And all of us can chime in on this, but John, let's guide us through what we can do right now.
Well, so again, the overview from the Washington Realtor Association summary of the governor's order is that that for financial institutions like escrow to be involved in getting these deals closed, that they are exempt in terms of the pending transactions that we're just trying to get closed, which I'm going to interpret means that there is going to be some, very little, but some leniency for what we have to do, but for transactions that are pending, waiting to close, but we have issues like during a pending transaction, there's an inspection sometimes that the buyer has to do. And so should the buyer be going into a home and performing an inspection? Are there inspectors who are going to go and do those things? We've got to tread really lightly on that. And I think that you yourself maybe shouldn't be entering a property, but if you have to open the door for an inspector, you want to maintain distance from everyone. You want to not go into the house. You want to make arrangements for the inspector and that kind of thing. But you've got to stay away. You know, you've got to stay away from people and property, I think, during this order. Dennis,
So yeah, so is our direction right now, are you saying that if we do have an inspection scheduled right now and we're in progress, you're saying that you think we can move forward on that and that would be considered essential?
That's my interpretation of this, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. All right, well then let's go into the next one. What to do with listings under contract and live right now?
Under contract and live. So by live, you mean that it's pending?
It's
but
actually, it's posted on the MLS as a live listing, not under contract yet, but it's actually on the MLS.
Okay. Oh, it's not under contract. Okay.
Not under contract, but as a listing, it is on the MLS.
Okay. Well, the best thing to do is what I've seen some agents doing, which is to have virtual tours, virtual reality set up so people can see the listing without actually being in it. Again, we have to protect our clients, we have to protect ourselves, we have to protect the other parties in the transaction, and we have to comply with the governor's order. So I would just, say that you want to do everything possible to not go to the property or encourage others to go to the property. And you do that by having virtual tours set up, which is awesome. And I think the agents who have gone out and done that in advance, way ahead of your time, good job. This is the future, obviously.
Hey, John, I hate to break in, but I just want to say the order doesn't take place until Wednesday at 5:30. So really, if they needed to go out and do a video now's the time before they shut it down.
Absolutely, get on it. And there's a question from Trish about appraisals. She heard a rumor, so I'm not even going to go to rumors there right now. But do we think the same thing would apply for appraisers as well as inspectors? I would assume so.
I would assume so also. So the key here is going to be the communication. So you got to have communication with the lender, with the appraiser, making sure that arrangements are made with the homeowners to make sure that they're prepared for this. Just, these are communication things that should always have been in place. These are the things that I get regular calls of complaint about is people not communicating these things. And during this time, we've got to be super on top of the communication on this, making sure everybody's aware of what's going on. But I would say, that as a rule, yeah, that if it's under contract, it's being appraised, same thing would apply.
Gotcha. Okay, guys, let's move over to how to handle listings that are about to go live. And we're talking about photography, we're talking about staging. And I think it really does kind of go into what you're saying here, John. But Dennis and John, what are you thinking as far as about to go live? So pictures, staging, probably not right now.
I mean, I think you could do it up until Wednesday at 5:30. So if you can get the pictures done now, even if you can't get a photographer, at minimum, do some photos yourself if you have to. It's better than having nothing. And really, it's up to the seller if they want to put it on the market right now. But I will guarantee you there will be pent up demand once this thing's done.
Oh yeah.
And things will be it'll be an avalanche of business. I think you'll do a year's worth of business in the last half of the year.
Right.
So.
Right. First of all, we've got a lot of chats going on right now from some pretty intricate questions, guys. So I'm going to defer those for right now because there's a lot of fluidity in what we're talking about. And you might have some very specific questions for John afterwards, so I'm going to guide you there. I do want to, though, take a question from Kathy Filbert. So she says, after Wednesday, if we attend an inspection, isn't that illegal? And Kathy, I think what we were just saying is John believes, and so we'll take the stance right now, and we're still getting clarity, but right now, that attending an inspection would be essential in this environment. John, did I say that correctly?
Well, that's my understanding, and it would be for security purposes. So you would only unlock the door, and you would stay outside, and you would allow, the entry of the appraiser or the inspector or whoever has made those arrangements. And this having been done after great communication with all parties to make sure all know that this is happening, and you would just simply be unlocking the door, letting them in, staying there for the security purposes outside. And then locking it up and making sure it's secure, and then getting home.
Right.
And so she also said, I thought we were non-essential, and she's right. That being said, anything that's already pending that is trying to get to the closing, they consider that essential. So that's why escrow gets to stay open. So that's where the confusion is.
Right.
And okay, so, and then the last question on that, can buyers be present for the inspection?
I would think that's not a good idea at all. You don't want your client getting exposed to the virus in any way, and you don't want them taking the virus to a house and entering the house. So I think we're trying to limit the exposure here as much as possible, and taking the spirit of the law, so to speak. You don't want to be dragging your clients in there. Dennis, what do you think?
I agree. Yeah. I mean, just think of it. You've got 2 weeks at least that they're looking at, starting Wednesday at 5:30. So if you can get something done between now and then, go for it. If not, don't do it.
Yeah, the exception maybe, Dennis, is, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but if the buyer chooses not to use an inspector and perform their own inspection on the property, they do so at their own risk. You make sure you have some sort of email, saying that. And then you again can unlock it for security after communication with the listing agent, after communication with all parties, making sure everyone knows that this is taking place, and that you've already given your buyer the brief on not touching things, just looking and performing the inspection
so
with little contact as possible.
And I would say too that if somebody's really interested in the property and they can't get in it because of this lockdown, there's no reason you couldn't write it up subject to inspection.
Great idea.
I mean, why not? You write it up, you get agreement. It's now locked down until you can actually go look at it, and then you can decide if you want to buy it or not.
Okay.
Thanks to Anna for reminding me about that last night.
Yeah, which sounds like something that falls under the 22 FM, the new 22 FM also, because that provides for that additional time to do those things that were prevented by this coronavirus.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Let's move on to our next one, which is doing business virtually, including showings, appointments, connecting to your database. So I know some of the things that we've heard some really, really great feedback from are those of you who are actually doing a virtual showing, going into the house, doing a great video of that, and making sure that in the agent remarks that you're saying, hey, if you want to show the home, I will send you over a virtual tour of the house. On our Facebook pages, we are going to post, Alex Frankov did a fantastic job of this. I know Sarah AC is doing that. Who else did we say was doing a really great job of that, guys?
I think Jessica Ward's doing that as well.
Yep.
And Ryan
Muse.
yeah.
Okay, great. So we're going to start putting examples of that on our Facebook pages so we can just keep you posted on all of that. Here's the biggest thing, guys. We want to make sure, first of all, that you understand how to use technology using Zoom. So we're going to add some classes on just how to use Zoom coming up this week. We'll get more information out to you on that. And so I think that's going to be critical for being able to be virtual right now. Business does not stop right now, guys. Okay, we're just going to keep moving forward. Let's take a couple other questions here in our chat. By the way, guys, if you do have questions, can you throw them on chat rather than in the Q&A? Hard to keep both of these going, so that would be really helpful if you could put them there. So here we go. So let's start off with, once we get pending homes closed and we have the issue of moving out and needing to hire movers, seller needs to get out of their home by a certain time. Would that be part of the pending exception? Could be difficult to get movers or rent a moving truck. What do we think on there, guys?
Well, they're keeping, so for moving things, my understanding is that is an essential thing. And that's, you know, they're talking about the port being open, all these things that have trade going through it. You know, you've got a contract that's closed. I would think that the contract takes precedence. So if somebody's supposed to, you know, if they close and they're supposed to be out, they've got to be out. So I would think that, in fact, I read something about, oh, what was it? I can't remember if it was taxis or what it was. There were some people have to stay open. They're essential workers. So
Okay.
I believe moving is part of that.
That's my understanding also.
All right, sounds good. Okay, so where can we refer to the rules for pending property so we have documentation to prove that we are out there for essential reasons?
I don't know that there's been any point-by-point delineation published or sent out. But in the original Realtor, in the Realtor's summary and in the explanation, that's where they listed that pending contracts. But that is one of the exceptions to, you know, they couldn't get us included in the governor's exemptions to that order, but they say in that anything pending is an exemption that we can perform necessary functions to bring those things to closing, which includes escrows.
Gotcha. Okay, great. And what we can do, guys, is we'll post that comprehensive exceptions from the state on, so we have an idea on it. It does not specifically state anything about real estate, so I want to caution you, don't make any conclusions on that. Let John and let Dennis and Pam take the lead on that. We're going to keep you guys really informed on what's happening, but stay with us. We hear you and we understand what is happening there.
Yeah, and watch for your Washington Realtors posts. They send them, at least to my email. I'm assuming everybody's getting those, so keep an eye out for those. And if not, go to the MLS because they'll have more information as well.
And we'll repost all of that stuff on our Facebook pages too, just in case you don't find it in your email. So that's a channel you guys can go to.
And the answer, someone said, are they working to get real estate included in the order? Yes, they are still working on that. But right now, we're non-essential.
Okay, so let's talk for a second about getting into action. So I want to show you guys right now this. I'm so excited. We've already got this in place for you. This is our communication training and engagement plan. Where we have right now, today's Tuesday, by the way, great job, Bill Allison. I understand you guys had a great devotional, daily devotional this morning. We will not have the top 20% starting until Friday, but we will have Tech Talk with Jessica. Look on our Facebook pages. You'll find the links for all of the things on here. And then at 3 o'clock today, we will be starting the 4-part shift series. Here's what you guys can do. You can get into action. First thing, keep an eye out on our Facebook pages. Check out every day. We do put our daily briefing out at 7 a.m. in the morning, so you know exactly what's coming on that day, and then take part. If you're at home, this is a great, great opportunity to really get ahead of your skill sets. Okay, so let's talk about a little bit more about getting into action. Pam and Dennis. Pam, what kind of direction are you seeing, or what kind of questions do you even have for everybody regarding that?
I think the biggest question I have is, what do I tell my clients? You know, the questions that the clients are having is, should I buy a house? Should I sell my house? I don't want to sell my house. I just got laid off. I can't buy my house. So I think what I'm sensing is that there's a need there for you guys to know how to respond to these things. So I posted this morning 5 different scripts and dialogues covering 5 different topics that sellers, buyers are having right now in your communications with them. And those are in the files. Serena posted on our Facebook pages and put those in our files. So there's 5 different things there that you can kind of look at to kind of give you some guide around what does a conversation like that look like. So to me, that would be, you know, back to the point that was made earlier, is communication is key. And don't be afraid to actually say, you know, I don't know, let me check in on that for you, and then reach back out to us. And so we can provide some clarity. Clarity definitely is power right now. There's a lot of I think and I heard, and, you know, that's very vague. So we have to be really clear with our communication. And until you feel like you've got a real solid answer, you know, you just need to go into our Facebook channels or text us with your questions so we can provide as much clarity.
And then if you're going to err, you want to err on the side of caution.
Yeah,
Safety.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. This is a time to stay safe, guys. We have a great opportunity though right now. We have the ability to keep connected with each other. We have the ability to learn. We are already a fantastically connected group with our strong cultures at both of our offices in Keller Williams International. And one thing I did post on both of our Facebook pages this morning is the new Pivot Facebook page for all of us to go to. Check that out. It's from Keller Williams International. There's amazing content on there about training, about shift, about discussions. Again, you've got places that you can go to really get phenomenal training, phenomenal education. In addition to that, if there are agents outside of our organization and they need the things that we're providing, there is a huge vacuum out there right now, guys. Just a huge vacuum in what they're able to get a lot of times. Send them over to our Thrive Forward Facebook group. You guys can do a search for that, Thrive Forward, and you can also join that group. But it's where outside agents can come, they can get training, they can hear communications as well. Okay, guys, we're about to wrap up.
Kole, may I add something really fast?
Yeah, please.
I just wanted to add to this whole conversation that emotions, fear, anger, frustration, they never, ever happen. They can't happen without a thought preceding them. So you've got to be aware of your thoughts. You've got to be aware of your client's thoughts. And because the emotion that they're showing is following a thought they had. And so you have to understand for yourself that you can only control what's within your realm of control. And there are things you can't control. And the best thing you can do for your own mental health, for the mental health of your clients, is to let go of those things outside of our control and only do what we can control.
And I would add to that, just finding a way. So ask yourself a question today. What can I do to move my business forward? Who do I need to call today? So who, what, when, where, any question that you can actually frame around that. Who should I call today? What should I be doing today? Where can I show up today for my clients? Who, what, when, why, not why. Why is the lowest form of question there is, right? So stay away from why. Yeah, stay away from that. But ask yourself some questions, and I believe all of you actually have the answers that you need right now, but you've got to ask yourself the right questions.
You're right, Pam. You know what? And I love this group's feedback. Here's the thing to understand, guys. We are here for you. We hear you. You have our ultimate commitment that we're going to make sure that we communicate with you and share every best practice we can. We want to hear your successes. We want to hear the things that you're discovering are really, really working, and we want to share that with everybody. Share those on our Facebook pages. And I think we're all going to be really great moving forward. Okay, guys. So I think we've had a fantastic call here. We're going to post this right away on our Facebook groups. I know that we had quite a few people who could not get on. So sorry about that. We will make sure that we get that taken care of in the future. Okay, guys. So stay safe, stay healthy, and more important, stay active. And we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys.
Great job.
Bye.
Look great on this.